Welcome to Friends Like Us. I'm Marina Franklin here with you. And today I'm by myself, but I'll have Juskow in a few. Because that's what we do with the white man. We we have him on in delayed time. Yeah. All right, guys, welcome back to another live. It's Saturday, yay, yay, yay. I'm off key. It's Hip Hop Week Festival. It's like in New York City. It's crazy out here. I'm not a hip hop head, really. I know that's like one of those things you're afraid to admit. I'm a house head, so I love house music, but I love hip hop. I'm just not like obsessed with it. And I love like MC Light and uh, Eric B. Rakim is always sexy to me. Something about his nose. And yeah, so I'm really happy that it's a big festival. It's a good time to get out in the summer. It's a good event that they're having to celebrate and to remind people where the origins of hip hop came from. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm not a hip hop Um, I'm gonna say things that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I don't want to do that. But I am here for you. And the reason I do this, if you're just joining me and you've never logged on ever before, I'm gonna type it in the chat in a second, but tell me where you are watching us from. But the reason I do this is to promote my podcast, Friends Like Us, and yeah, that's it. To promote my podcast, Friends Like Us, we have a really great episode out now with Tracy Lauren and Holly Harper. Tracy Lauren is a good friend of mine. I've known her for years, like since the University of Illinois in Chicago. She's Chicagoan like me. And she always makes me laugh. She's so funny. Whenever I get on the phone with Tracy, it's one of those moments where, I don't know, we just laugh so hard. I'm like crying. So I just had to have her on. Also, her TikTok, which is Tracy Lauren, and all of her social media. Her social media platform went kind of wild. She had 1,000,000 views because she puts up a lot of Black history, things that, people you don't know. They only teach us the few, and now they want to erase even that. And now they want to, not only do they want to erase it, they want to change the way they talk about it. Like, slavery gave us some tools. It's the most offensive thing ever. You could not get away with this with any other group in America but Black folks. The fact that it is still lingering in the air is proof that we need to buy more things or we need more money because this is bullshit. I mean, and then they had, I believe I hear, I don't have the facts, but I know they had a meeting in Florida and they invited Santos and the other person and they didn't show up. Truly disrespectful. But I guess I kind of understand in a sense because I wouldn't show up to like a Trump rally, trying to state my case either. And they weren't going to be, at this meeting, they weren't going to be heard. You were going to get a lot of like, the hell you talking about? Sit down. Shut up. Black people ain't no fool. They wouldn't be, it would have been interesting. It would have been a fun show. It says here, so I do go over these hot topics sort of on this live. It's more laid back. It's kind of ironic. It's a podcast, Friends Like Us. If you didn't know, it features women of color. Once a month, we have a man or a white. It's like our period. And what's weird is on Saturday, I promote it with my white friends. But they're the only ones who are available every single Saturday. Evelyn is not here today because she's not feeling well. So I'm not at liberty to say what, but she's not feeling well. So I thought I should let you know that she's not here. She will be back next Saturday. I am typing Friends Like Us Live. Welcome. Please let us know where you're watching us from, okay? Welcome. welcome. How are you doing out there, folks? Give me some talk. I see you out there. Um, just tell me where you're watching. If you don't want to, sometimes watching us from. Tell me where you I have a good question for all of you. Where you are, I can't type, watching us from. I usually join this early. We usually start at 3, but well, we start every Saturday at 2:45, but I do this early to grab the Facebook. And I don't think I have to do that anymore. But let me know if I'm freezing. I don't think I'm freezing, right? I can't see if I'm freezing, so you would have to let me know. But last week we were having some technical difficulties, and I don't know if I'm having any right now. I can't tell. I don't see anything. Nothing's happening. Looks good. Looks clear from here. Last week I was blaming, as Juskow was putting it, and I saw him when I had to restart my router and everything, and I saw him saying, "I think it's Marina. It's not you, Evelyn." But here's the thing. If I am clear right here, it's not me. I don't blame anyone. That's the thing. And what I loved about Evelyn was she truly did defend me. I saw her. That's a good friend. That's a good friend when you could catch her in the moment when you're not there and they still defend you. That's a good friend. Thank you, Evelyn Frick. We miss you. Get better. Feel better. All those things. Yes. How you doing out there, folks? It's Saturday. Went to the farmer's market today. And I always talk to the bread guy. I'm good friends with the bread guy right now. 16 Mills. That's what it's called. 16 Mills is where I get my bread. This bread is so damn good that I ordered it last night. Okay, because it's nutritional, it's tasty. It's like, they have that Ezekiel bread, right? That's the bread you get when you just feel like you just want to die. Like when you're preparing for death, get some Ezekiel bread. That should be their commercial. Sorry, but it's true. It's just not the tastiest bread ever. And so like this bread in particular, 16 mil, is like it's healthy for you. It has no processed sugar, it's gluten-free, all of that. And it is so good. Yup. I don't see no one chatting. I hope I'm not freezing. I know how to test this out. I'm going to look to see if on my YouTube, on my phone, if I look clear, because there's no way to see this from my end. And no one's saying hi to me. Just say hello. What the hell? Is it is it a good show for you? Let's see here. So, I want to see if how am I, Marina? I'm live right now. Yeah, it looks clear. It looks good. Hey, girl. Hey. All right. Hey, Tamara. What up, Tamara? All right, there we go. All right, let me log out of that. So I'm clear as a bell. So it's not me. My Wi-Fi is fine. And hello, Kathleen Bell. Hello from Sacramento. I don't see any freezing. Thank you so much. All right, so we're good. We're good. And then Jessica will be joining us. Actually talk. It's just so you guys know, it's his birthday tomorrow. I already let him know I ain't got no money. But it is Juskow's birthday tomorrow. So I should have done like, let's go back down memory lane with Juskow. But what is his birthday again? Yeah, it feels like it's always his birthday, doesn't it? It feels like his birthday is the birthday that never ends. But here's a question I have for you, Tamara, since you live in Harlem like me. This is a controversial thing that I put up on Nextdoor app because this week I went and watched as our community board 10, who is Marquis Harrison, I think that's his last name, doing a great job. I like Marquis a lot. Don't always agree with Marquis and his votes, obviously, but he knows I love the dude. I think he's doing a wonderful job. However, this week, Well, for 2 weeks, they've been approving what is a cannabis dispensary on 125th Street, and they opened it up for the community to talk about about 3 weeks ago, and then this week they approved it. Most of the community, from what I saw in the first Zoom for that, because it was all virtual, nobody wants to go anywhere and have confrontations anymore. They just do it in this box like this. But one of the things that people were really asking is, why does it have to be on 125th Street? Why can't it be anywhere else in Harlem? Like, we're not, obviously, you guys know me. I smoke a tremendous amount of marijuana. I'm not opposed to marijuana. What I am opposed to is what's going on in Harlem, which is the inundation of inoculations and we are the dumping ground for everything that needs to be a quick fix problem for the rest of New York. So for people who want to shoot up, they have these centers, and I agree that's necessary. However, I don't agree that it has to be all in Harlem. And it's disproportionately in Harlem that serves the greater area of New York. And now they want to open up a dispensary on 125th Street. And the arguments were that you don't want to be left behind in a market that's making money. No one's arguing that, but do we need it on 125th Street? And do we need it now? And they kept putting up, they put up a data that shows that cannabis has shown that it decreases crime. Yeah, Tamara. Yes. Tamara's like, that makes no sense. And what I really want to know, without any opinions in this whatsoever, is how many Harlem residents are aware of this. And I keep getting like this vague answer from the community board, or I get, well, you showed up. They don't show up. Well, I show up because I'm one of those crazy people who are like obsessed. But for the average person who's like surviving past the pandemic, maybe following Community Board 10 is not on their to-do list. And you have to go out of your way to make sure every member in Harlem knows what's going on. And I would argue that they don't, because I don't feel like all voices were heard or said. And on the day that it was approved, there was a reverend who tried to speak about why she does not think it should be there. And she got cut off. Don't know why, but we weren't able to hear her. And also, so here are the arguments, right? Is it Black owned? Yes, it is. That's what they're saying. But the first man to speak about cannabis on 125th Street to talk about why it's great to have it there was a white man. I don't have no problems with white men. I've dated several. As a matter of fact, 2 whites ago, went into my act. It was a white man. And this is what he said. He goes, it's a great location because 125th Street is the crossroads of America. I'm side-eyeing that motherfucker, for real. I ain't never seen a white man say that to me, ever. I've heard, we'll get Dave Juskow, and he'll tell you exactly what he thought about 125th Street. And it wasn't that it was the crossroads of America. So now I'm really suspicious, right? But it's just like anything else. When it comes to money and when it comes to this industry, there will be corruption. Okay? And transparency is the key word here. It's the problem. There has not been enough transparency on this matter. And that's what I feel. I don't feel like a lot of Harlem members know this is going on, did not have their voices heard. There was a very few people talking, and those few people talking are friends of the people who own and want to start a business selling cannabis on 125th Street. And they would not hear us when we said this. We're not opposed to cannabis being in Harlem and for successful Black business owners to make money off of. Listen, I'm having a hot flash. God damn. Don't get me started. Thank you, Hans. I am hot. I'm literally hot right now. So, oh, God damn it. Don't get me started. These Negroes, okay? This is what I'm saying. Don't fall for the banana in the, is it the tailpipe? They fell for it. I keep seeing it over and over again in Harlem. We just are like so ready to just be like, whatever, without, you got to have a vote. You got to let people know. Now, if the majority of Harlem is okay with this, then I say go for it. But that's not what I was hearing in the first meeting. And when it was approved in the second meeting by the Community Board 10, I was very disappointed. And there was a member of there who said this process was rushed. Actually, he chose his words very carefully. This is what he said. He said, normally, this would go to a committee. And the committee would vet this subject, this topic, this issue. And then after that, if it passed that committee, it would then go to the general board in Harlem. And then they would vote. This did not happen for this. It didn't happen. And he said, and I'm not happy with this process. And he's one of the oldest members of the Community Board 10. So that tells me something. We fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Hey, Hectech. Yes, Tamara, we need to show up for the community board meetings. Yes. But they don't know, why don't we show up? Why? And I'll tell you, I don't blame us. It's just we have other things that we're doing. We're dealing with schools that have been defunded in Harlem. We're dealing with rats. We're dealing with electric bikes on sidewalks hitting 6-year-old kids. We're dealing with gun violence, kids killing kids. So, you know what? All of that is going on. And so they just swoop right in and voted this. It's not right. Hi, Nina Do. Yeah, I'm having hot flashes because I'm getting angry. So if you guys are just joining me, I'm talking about the Cannabis Dispensary that was approved by Community Board 10 on 125th Street. And you all know I smoke weed. I don't have a problem with marijuana. I love it so much. But the problem is, okay, let's focus. The problem is 125th Street. What do we have going on 125th Street right now? We have a very serious problem going on 125th Street. Okay, we have injection sites. Inundation. You have our kids walking from school, seeing that. Okay. What do we need with a dispensary on exactly 125th Street? Do we need it on that street? Do we? How often do I smoke weed? Well, that's a personal question, isn't it? I took a break this week. Okay. And let me tell you, why not 110th Street? And this is what you miss, Hectech and Nina. There was a white man who presented it on the first week because I went both weeks. I went to both meetings. Yeah, I'm not answering. Thank you, Hectech. I went to both meetings. In the first meeting that introduced this issue about cannabis on 125th Street, the first person to speak was a white man who said that 125th Street was the crossroads of America. Why not have a dispensary there? If you don't get your white ass off this community board meeting, I will kick it off. That had me so angry. I don't think there is anyone who heard that and was like, ooh, that's different. So let me say this to you. And I spoke to Yamanika about this. She's in agreement with me too. And she's like, you know what? Just give up. They don't care. Our community doesn't care about them. If they don't care, just move to a community that does care. And I'm trying not to do that. Okay. I am trying really hard not to do that. But what I see is because what I understand is that people in Harlem are exhausted. Okay. They are exhausted. COVID, health issues, health disparities, constantly. You've got these, what do you call them? Companies that want to come in, businesses that want to make money that aren't black owned in Harlem, that are dominating businesses in a black neighborhood that aren't black. You have contractors who want to set up buildings, unaffordable housing in Harlem, and try to sneak it under. Like, it is insane. And at the end of the day, I do understand why black people in Harlem are tired and they're just not there. They're not present at the community board 10 because they got other things to worry about. Oh, that's a good question. She says, does that man live in Harlem or the community board 10? I have no idea because let me tell you, that would have been a great question, Tamara. I wish you had been there. And here's the other thing. If you had asked that question in the chat, I doubt it would have been heard. That's my problem also. The community board 10 has an issue where they give the voices to the business owners only. And I understand why they do that because Harlem needs to make money. Money is going to make Harlem a successful part of Manhattan. But you got to listen to your constituents. You got to listen to the people who live here. And they give you like 2 minutes maybe to speak. I tried to speak, but my headset wasn't working that day. But I was going in on the chat. And I don't know if he lives there. I don't know who he was. And then they showed some data from like 2018 that showed that cannabis reduces crime in Denver, Colorado. Whew. Maybe it's good that we do it virtual because let me tell you something. I would have rushed the stage if they had said that shit to me. Because let's think about this. This is not Denver, Colorado. This is Harlem, New York. This is New York. Okay? 2018 ain't 2023. After 2018, as far as I know, we didn't even know a pandemic was coming. Life has drastically changed. The world has drastically changed. So don't give me no data from 2018. I got to spray myself with this hot flash stuff. God damn, man, it makes me so angry. Cursing and shit. My headset is racist. Oh God, you're so right. Let's see here. What are you saying here? Nina, do every business we try to run out of my area in Bronzeville, in Chicago, are run by someone who doesn't even live in Illinois and are not black. Yes, this is such a big issue. And from what I was understanding, marijuana, the production of it is not, the farming is disproportionately as white. It's, black farmers and cannabis is very small percent. So I would argue that even if the business was run by two black men who fell for the hokey doke because they're getting their money and they're putting their, because that's what's going on. They put some black folks' face up in front of a business, which we know that happened here in Harlem right underneath me. They say it's black owned because there's a black person working there. And they're good friends. And that's what's going on. That's going on all across the United States. They're saying, oh, look, you got a black person, it's black owned. Yeah, it's black owned. Look. There's Uncle Tom right there. So that's what's going on. And so I just ask for a very simple thing: transparency. Don't give me the general, but we're never going to get that because it's still drugs. And when anything has to do with drugs, you better believe there is some shadiness involved. And everyone's turning a blind eye because this is all new. So there it is. Hey, Sujay. I was just talking to, where is Juskow? Oh, let's see. I think he texts me. What is he saying? I'm going to be late. I'm so sorry. Unprofessional. We were just talking about you, Sujay. We were like, where you been? Where you been? Oh, let's see here. So 125th Street Business District Management Association and State Supreme Court in Manhattan sued to stop the dispensary in April. Really? Oh my God. I wish you could join me now to talk about this because like I want to go in on that. So the business district management, really, do you have an article on that? I'd love to see that article. And I've actually reached out to Cannaclusive, which is a black owned, they help, women of color, black women in this industry to make money and to be in charge, of what's going on. And I want to have them on to talk about this because they've been talking. It's like it's crazy. There's so many issues right now that aren't even just like racial. There's like people like stealing. I didn't know this was possible, but you could steal someone's like. Let's say you have like purple haze, and someone else says I have purple haze. It's kind of like someone stealing my joke. So that's another thing that's going on. Um, let's see. Yes, we still have a lot of crime. Unfortunately, in California, there are cartel our cartel grows, and it's resulting in toxic illegal pesticides. Houses purchased and ruined, animals killed. Whoa, what? Wow. Can I see that article too? Oh. Oh, you guys, I love this. Let's say yes, there's a bar we tried to stop and they had one black dude on the title to claim. Yeah. Yeah, they do it all the time. I mean, and then we fall for it too. I can't even say like you know, oh, it makes me so angry because we fall for it. Because my uncle said this recently. America's about a quick fix. Like you remember I had like my eye, I had like a broken blood vessel, which I still have. But you can't see it. It's moved all the way into the pupil, so it's good. And my eye doctor was like, "You're fine. It's no problem. It happens to everybody. It's just blood." I was like, "Easy." But when I told my uncle, I said, "I want this to go away." He goes, "That's America. We just want a quick fix. We just want it to go away. You want to make money? We just want a quick money. We just want to make money. The lottery, want to make money." No one thinks about like the evolution of time and how these things take time. And so a lot of times we're just thinking about making that quick buck, making that money, showing up. Someone promises us money and we sold our whole community like straight down the Hudson River. And yeah, I hope, and it's like, oh, I love Can Inclusive. Yes. I hope I get them on Friends Like Us. That's my whole goal. And if you just started to listen to to me on this live, the reason I do this is so that I can promote my podcast, Friends Like Us. I don't know if you listen to it, but you should. And you should send us some reviews. We don't have any reviews this week because no one sent us any reviews. And that's the most important thing. Go to my Apple Podcast, go to your Apple Podcast, or you could go to Spotify. You could go anywhere and just review us. I haven't really checked on the Spotify, but review us. Yes, wise words from a wise uncle. He's very wise. He's very wise. I love the way he tells me stuff though. It's kind of like I was telling him how I didn't want to take these eye drops. I have to take eye drops because I have like early onset of glaucoma. It's okay. I'm fine. Glaucoma doesn't hurt. And it is the reason why I smoke so much marijuana. Now, here's the thing. And I'm fine. I got like all these eye doctors and stuff, but I take these drops, and one of the drops I believe may have caused too much pressure in my eye, and that's why I had to pop us. Whatever. Anyway, I was telling him I don't want to take the drops anymore. And he was like, "Well, that's okay. Sometimes we do that. We don't listen to the experts, and then we go blind." And that's how he gets his point across. That's how he gets his point across. All right. Speaking like a true advocate, where is Juskow? Hi, Rob B. What's up? I don't know if you guys know. No, you know what? This would be a good time to share a video of Tracy Lauren because when Juskow comes on, he will be disruptive. So, and he is disruptive. So let's just go to that. Let's see what happened on Friends Like Us this week. Okay. You guys could discuss in the chat while I'm doing this. Look how much I care about you. Evelyn is out sick today. And, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Evelyn is out sick and Juskow is late. He'll be here though. I talked to him earlier. All right, so here we go. She's a really fun guest to have on Friends Like Us.
It's so relevant because of what they're doing in Florida and other places with Black history. And they just teach us what they want us to know. Black people were slaves, Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks refused to sit on the bus. And so there's so much other stuff. I mean, we just have so many fabulous stories out there. And with me even I learn a lot myself. And I have so many people, even professors and teachers, educators who I've never heard of this person. So that lets me know that we need it. I have people of all stripes telling me that they've never heard of this person or that person, people who call themselves historians. And so that's why it's important. And I feel like I do it in a fun way. It's not preachy or anything, but it's a way that's memorable, I believe. So I think that's why I kind of took off. And so up to now, I'm up to like 1 million views. Yeah. So I love, it's a lot of work though, because I do everything by myself. I'm telling you everything. So from the writing to the research, the costumes, the sets, the props, everything, the filming, directing, it's crazy. And so by the end of the Black History Month, I'm spent. And I usually have to take 2 months off because it is a lot of work to do it by yourself, but it's gratifying. So with the Black History stuff specifically, it's just, we're only taught specific things. And of course, right now, it's so important.
All right. So that was good. Yes, it is relevant. And go and check out our page, Tracy Lauren. She does these characters. And we were talking about like Jane Kennedy. Oh, she reached out to Jane Kennedy, or she did because Jane Kennedy is like one of the first. We also talked about like the first woman who actually sat at the back of the bus was not Rosa Parks. And look at me. It's been so bad. Like I'm the names, but we talk about it on the show. But it's a great way to use social media. And we have a guest that's coming up this week, a professor, PhD, University of Chicago, from Chicago. And he talks about when the hoods come off, about people who have these thoughts and views, but they don't share it when you're face to face. They usually do it when they're online, because they're cowards and all that. But also how people have these views that we know, like, what happened during the pandemic. We started to see those views that people had that we thought were our friends that started to lose their damn minds. And we're like, oh, this is what you've been thinking the whole time. This is who you are. Oh my God. Oh, you didn't know this. So he's on this week, Rob Eshman, and it's a really good book, When the Hoods Come Off, and he studies like social media, the effects of it on children, the effects of gaming, and how you go on and you game and right away you get called the N-word, and the effects of that and how young Black kids, when they play video games, they don't actually wear the headset if they're playing open with other people. Because look, I play Fortnite, and I'm not bragging, but I have a Black avatar. And when I tell you, like, there's a little room where you wait before the game starts. And when I tell you the amount of shooting, they just, because you get like, you just waiting, and then you get like a gun just to practice and stuff, or you could hack people. They be hacking at my head. Okay. But I got one for their ass too. All right. Now in queue, ready to go or not ready to go. He's busy work. It is a busy day for Juskow. But here he goes. You ready? All right,
Hi, everybody.
I told you it wasn't my internet.
Yeah, listen.
Oh no!
You can't hear me?
Oh, you started freezing.
Can you hear me now? Oh, your internet's still out. Can you hear me? Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah, but you're freezing a little bit.
Yeah, you too. Listen. I think I have to leave in 10 minutes. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You have work today, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Usually it's not so bad. It just got all of a sudden. It just got real busy. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But do you want to talk about that Asian family we were talking about on the subway real fast?
Sure.
Go.
Oh no, I got nothing to say. You were the one that had the.
Well, we were talking
different
about
take on
cannabis on 125th Street anyway. What do you think about that?
Having a
told
weed
you.
store on 125th Street, or that's
Yeah.
the nexus of the universe, or what? The crossroads of the universe. But you know how I like saying 125th Street,
Yes.
and that's the
Yes.
Ethiopian shim sham.
Sujay, you remember that story on the train? Sujay, are you able to join me when Juskow leaves?
Oh, that would be great.
In
I
10
feel
minutes.
so much better. I'm so
and
sorry.
He's freezing a lot. It is you guys. It's y'all. Because everyone in the chat, was I freezing before? Put it in the chat. I was not. I was clear.
Maybe there's something about like when just somebody joins. That's the issue. Maybe, I told you, get off this Streamline.
It's
Maybe.
cheap.
Shouldn't cost anything.
It's very cheap. And I already paid for the year, so I'm stuck.
Oh.
Sujay could join. Okay, so let me just share. I'm gonna email you, Sujay.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
No one cares.
Okay.
No, we care. Of course we care.
What are you, a hot tam?
Oh, does he do that to you all the time?
All the time.
Oh no. Well, that's
I know. I had a great story for you today too, and I just can't do it.
You had a great story.
Yeah, a date that happened this week.
And you can tell us before you go. Go.
I can't. Not in the mood.
What? Go for it. Come on.
I'm too stressed. I'm sorry.
It was a horrible date.
It was just another instance where, was it a date? But then I picked up the check, and there was no motion to pick up the check on her part. But the comedy is that I called my friend and I told him what happened, and he knew the girl, and he goes, "Oh, you know what? That's actually my fault." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, when you Google you and put in Dave Juskow net worth, it comes up $1.4 million. And I showed it to her and a bunch of the other girls, the comic strip. And I think that might be the issue of why she's there. And they're like, wait a minute. Isn't he a paralegal at a job at a law firm? And like, yeah, no, but he needs structure. He doesn't need the job. He just needs to get out of the house, needs a reason to get out every day. And that helps him. And he was just like, oh, when I told all these girls, she was the one that really bought it the most. So it's kind of the internet fault. It's kind of the internet.
Hey, Sujay.
Oh,
my.
Oh, were you not? Oh, he wasn't ready. Oh. Sorry, I did it too fast. My net worth, I think, is who's doing that?
I don't know, but it's hilarious. And I'm positive that's the reason she just sat there like this. while the check came, like not even a emotion.
I had a situation recently. I keep going on these dates like you, like where it's like, is this a date?
Yeah.
Like
guess
people are like, hey, let's meet up. I want to do whatever with you. Like they talk about like projects they want to work on or something. And then all of a sudden you're like, but we're not talking about the project anymore. We're talking about like us. And
Yeah.
I know about your like your lifestyle and your children that you want me to parent at some point. How does that happening? Like that's what's been going on with me, and that happened Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, I guess it's so obvious. You can just obviously say to somebody, "Is this a date?" But it's too embarrassing.
But you got to do it.
I guess so.
I didn't do it because I was at the cellar and I had made a decision. It's not a date. In my head, I was like, this ain't a date.
Well, it's the girls, mostly the girl that would decide that.
Yeah, I made that decision in my head, and then I did a couple of moves but I don't think I was clear enough.
Well, yeah, TB, that the net worth is a definite scam. It's just, I mean, why? Just like Dave Juskow shouldn't be there. Like, why am I there? I'm a D-list, and when I say D, I'm being polite. It's ruining my life.
Sujay, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you for jumping in. So
thanks, Sujay. Sorry, I gotta.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've been away, trying to enjoy the summer a little bit the last.
See, I told you, Marina.
I sent you photos. Remember, Marina? I was in Irvington last week, and it was like by the water.
Oh, I did see it, but I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what's that?
Oh yeah, just sending you random photos of
I said before he starts school again, he's taking a break. He's a teacher. He's got to take a break.
Yes,
that's right. I was like, where's Sujay been?
Yeah, I'm actually going into the city later for dinner today, actually around 5:00. So that'll be fun. Yeah.
A dinner date?
No, just friend, old grad school friend. So
look, I was all excited.
No, we both were.
Yours is going to be a date too. You're going to find out.
No, my friend is partnered.
I don't know. You still don't know. It means nothing. God damn it.
No,
what is going on out there?
I'm trying to fall in love with my 401k at the moment.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's good. Hello, Gustavo Dorado. What a wonderful name.
All right, I'm sorry, Marina. I have to go. I'm sorry, Sujay, but thank you for taking my place. I'm so sorry, Marina. I love doing the show.
No worries. Do you want to promote your show before you leave?
Oh, yeah. This Monday at the Comedy Cellar, 9:35 show, the Dave Juskow Birthday Spectacular.
Oh, that's right. You guys, before he leaves, can we sing Sujay? All right.
No, don't sing. Don't sing. Just wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Juskow Poo. Happy birthday, dear Juskow, the white man who we deal with. Happy birthday to you.
Well, that was actually quite beautiful. So
the
problem is, I think most of the time when people sing, they just have horrible singing voices. So
I know I do. That's why I was listening.
Oh, well, that was delightful. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry I got to go. I'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So he's gone. He's out of here.
Oh, all right.
So it's one of those days.
I know. It's supposed to storm too. It's kind of a sticky day,
Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to storm in the evening. Yep. So
at what time exactly? Maybe
so it's a scattered. So it'll be between now and like around 7, and then it'll start up again late at night. So
I have this wonderful raincoat that I've just been dying to wear, so I'm excited.
Partially.
Have you ever been like, oh God, I got the best raincoat. It's I don't know if you could see it. You see that blue?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, exactly. That'll come in handy.
That is 100% waterproof.
Oh, great. Excellent. Yeah. Shoes and socks too. You want to make sure those are ready for the rain.
Well, I have rain boots.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Yeah. Exactly.
But I don't think I'll wear them. They get a bit hot and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I always feel cool when I have on some rain boots. I always think I've been thinking a lot about the weather lately. Like what just happened in Hawaii was
Oh God,
horrific.
terrible. Oh my goodness. Just
So sad. And it's just I keep thinking, where do I want to live? Is where I'm living, like it doesn't seem like there's I have this moment of where do you go?
mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I would never think of well, Hawaii, I think of volcanoes.
Right. And
So
wildfires.
that was what was weird. Is like I just don't know Hawaii. So
Mhm.
horrible story.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I've been to Hawaii, and you can see that for people who live there, there's always that uncertainty. Like it never goes away. It's kind of it's very part of the fabric of living, right? That this could happen at any moment. So it's really upsetting.
So Hectech is saying, "Hey guys, did you see the 50 years of hip hop at Yankee Stadium?"
Mhm.
I did not because, and I had said this at the top of the show, Hectech. I brought it up because it's like the main news this week. I'm not a big hip hop head. I'm a
Mhm.
house head, but I was very happy about it because I think there are legends that need to be celebrated. We need to remind like these young ones what hip hop really was because
Right.
I don't know what direction it's going in,
Mhm.
but I think, paying tribute to those who really revolutionized hip hop. Like when they talk about MC Light, she looks good, by the way. I
Mhm.
saw MC Light they did a New York One piece on her.
Mhm.
I was like, damn, she aged well. I know I sound like a lesbian. I'm like, damn, girl, you look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
She does. She looks like she's aging backwards.
Oh wow. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
and I get into it with my nieces all the time because all they want to talk about is Nicki Minaj.
Oh right.
And
Yeah.
I always want to bring up oh my god, I'm having like brain, not Nicki Minaj, but Lil Kim. I
Uh-huh.
always talk about Lil Kim and how Lil Kim was the one.
Right.
And they were like, "No, she ain't." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, don't get hurt. You're in my family, don't get hurt."
Yeah.
So I may not be like a hip hop head, but I know Lil Kim. I love Lil Kim.
Yeah.
And she came way before, all of this. So I
Right.
think it's a wonderful thing, and I also think it's a great time for it because the summer is almost over, and it's a great way to get out, have fun, celebrate.
Exactly.
And my friend Dean Edwards went to it last night. I know it's like they had a silent disco in
Mhm.
Lincoln Center, which looked like amazing.
Right.
Silent discos, though, they do look funny too at the same time because you got all
Mhm.
these people like dancing and there's no sound, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's actually, so I thought of you this week because there's I know you studied theater. So in the Hudson Valley in Garrison, they're doing a very avant-garde Shakespeare production. So you can, like, there's buses that'll take you up there. And then I can't remember which Shakespeare play they're doing, but it's supposedly very, very good. And it's just kind of been in this huge like highlight. Love's Labor Lost and Henry V they're doing as well. So.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, yeah. I mean, I like Shakespeare. I don't know if that's the one that you got to pick your Shakespeares.
Yeah, in Central Park, they were doing The Tempest, I think, which is appropriate considering we're talking
Oh,
about climate. So,
yes.
mhm.
I feel like we should do a good Othello.
Oh,
I remember the first time I saw a book on Othello and I saw the guy's like eyes being gorged out, and I was like very young, and I was like, "What is mom? What is
mhm.
this about?"
And then Toni Morrison did a version of Desdemona uh, years ago at the BAM, I think.
Ooh, nice.
Mhm,
I used to study Shakespeare. Shakespeare was the great actor's tool to
mhm.
performance. It was one of those things where I had one of those British teachers. I think I've talked about it all the time. She was very abusive, but she was just like, with Shakespeare, the actors used to be able to speak so that the roof would fall off the top
Oh my
of
God.
the arena.
Oh, wow.
Do you have the emotional depth to
Mm.
move your voice through your breath? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I just got out of bed. I'm here.
Right.
It's like 9 o'clock. Can we
I
do
have
a warm up?
right, exactly.
You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
So yeah, I'm having a lot of hot flashes lately. So sorry.
No worries.
I went to a lot of doctor visits this week.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I saw it on your
Next week,
story.
yeah, a
Good
lot.
for you. Screening is so important,
I actually didn't get screened. I know I put that, but it was it
You were
just
stopping by. It was a drive-by. You were just going.
it was a drive by. It was me making my appointments though,
Okay.
and getting still like felt up.
Oh
My
gosh.
doctor still fills me up and everything, but
That's why
she
we
was,
pay good money.
huh?
That's why we pay good money for them,
Yes, but she schedules. I get an MRI
Right.
because I had breast cancer, and then after I get the MRI, I get a mammo and
Mhm.
ultrasound like down the road, like 3
Yeah.
months or 6 months out.
Well,
just
we
to
should
make sure.
talk because my best friend manages an imaging site for a really large hospital here in the city. So if you ever want like really good treatment, I can hook you up with.
Where is? Yeah, send me that. I mean,
Yes.
I'm going to. I forget where I'm going. There was the place that I went to that found it. That was
Uh-huh.
really good. You feel like you're going into like Victoria's Secret, like a lounge, like. You feel like it's a spot where like Oprah would go. It's
Yeah,
like
that's kind of the place that she manages. It's like pink robes and spa and
it
orchids.
should be like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I would get like water. They would ask you if you want, anything else to drink. They make you feel good. You get your
Yeah.
private room.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
not. It's not a curtain
Yes.
separating you from
Someone else.
some
Yeah.
woman who's like, "Hey, where's the you know where to waste?" It's very respectful.
Oh,
It
no,
makes you
absolutely.
feel like a human being, not just a number.
Absolutely. I was just at the doctor this morning, and my podiatrist, and there were people having full on like arguments in the waiting the waiting room. It's like just trying to get my feet checked out.
Yes. So let's go into that story on the train.
Oh.
Because I was talking with Juskow about it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw it, I
Mhm.
needed more information.
Yeah.
Do you? What is this? Because I don't have the information. So my
Right.
my initial
Right.
reaction
Right.
was, why are they taking a picture of this young Black girl like this?
Mhm.
And what happened? Like, 'cause
Right.
when they showed it,
Mhm.
it was kind of like, I don't know if you remember this, Sujay, like a year ago when we talked about the restaurant
Yeah. Yeah.
and the customers who didn't get sat, and it became about this Black woman who was yelling
Mhm.
and went off. But
Right.
then we found out how
Right.
she was treated.
Yeah.
These were young girls on the train,
Right.
and my eyes
Right.
saw a bit of discomfort in
Right.
some of the young girls, and I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. So what happened was allegedly, this is what the research I did into it revealed, is that there was a group of out of town a family that had an 11-year-old daughter, and it was the mother and the father. And they've come to New York numerous times. They're not strangers to New York, which is why they were riding the subway. And there were 3 teenagers sitting across from the family, and supposedly the three teenagers started laughing. And so the father of the group, which is a bad idea, don't recommend this, started laughing too, right? To kind of mirror the behavior. And these are teenagers. Teenagers are, can be rowdy or out having fun, whatever the case may be, right? But so they tried to match the laughter back. So they're like laughing back at the kids. And then allegedly the wife said, you should stay in school, which then instigated them to kind of stand up.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I told Juskow, because sorry, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
start, because Juskow was like, when I asked Juskow, I said, but what was said?
Mhm.
He didn't know. He
Right.
said she just looked like insane.
Right.
The girl, the
Right.
Black girl. The
Yeah.
picture was taken, and he said it was by a woman who works for the Post.
Right. So then there was the bystander, another Asian woman who ended up actually taking the footage, and then they supposedly beat her up too, because she had the camera in her hand. So she was bruised and suffering after that attack. But
Okay.
it but I think it points to this larger issue. And, we've talked about this over and over, that the subways have become such unruly spaces that you don't know if brushing up against somebody accidentally or like looking at someone the wrong way just going to kind of set them off. And in this particular case, it was, 3 teenagers. Who knows what was going through their mind, but I'm sure that comment also did not equally help, right? But at the same time, it's one of those things where there is such lack of support in mass transit. I have family
Yes.
visiting this week, and I've told them, don't by any means take the subway unless you're with me, because you don't want to look around and, look like a target. So it's an unfortunate situation, but it speaks to the larger question is what's happening in those spaces that allows the escalation of this to happen so much more frequently. Not to say never happened before, right? But the fact that it's happening more and more. And I think it's because there is this post-pandemic fear, right, of being in the subway, of taking it. I know you've talked about trying to come back uptown, after a certain hour, like absolutely not taking the subway. So,
Yeah. I mean, but it's also like you said, don't recommend, like, listen,
right.
The other part of this that I know when Black people saw this story,
Mhm.
that is not said,
Right.
is that there are Asian Americans who are very racist towards Black Americans.
Sure. Yeah. Mhm.
So when that comment came out about her, what did she say?
Stay in school. Yeah. I want you. And she said it's advice she would have given to her children, or this was her kind of responding to when I guess they asked her, why did you say that? But I think it's at that moment is not the time to like go into some sort of educational philosophy discussion with somebody, right?
Like now is not the time to go into some educational philosophy
Right.
discussion, man.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
It didn't need to get physical. Now this leads us to another conversation about the chair,
right,
and what just happened in was it
Alabama? Yes, ma'am.
Alabama, and the brother swimming over to defend the brother, and because. And everyone and if you don't know what happened there, you are living under a rock. But basically, it was an employee who was working. He was trying. There was a boat that was not supposed to be there, and he was trying to move it. And then he was Black, and then all these white people came over, and they started to fight. And he tosses his hat like, "It's on, motherfucker!"
Absolutely.
And then everyone saw this poor man who's just doing his job, getting beat up. And then you see all these brothers rush in to help. Now, I had this conversation with someone at the gym who said he didn't think, and he said he had this conversation with someone younger than me that was Black. He thought that the person who hit with the chair should go to jail. And he says that this young lady, she's Black, got really upset with him and called him racist and said, "Don't talk about the chair. The chair is our savior," And I just said to him, now is not the time for you to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, right.
I understand, and I think what you may not understand, and what you're assuming by starting a conversation with a young Black lady like that, is you're assuming that we don't understand that all of that was violence.
Right, exactly. And go ahead.
We all get that all of that was wrong. We're not morons.
No, right.
But why did we react the way we did?
Right, exactly.
Is not in their minds when they start up conversations like, well, the guy with the chair though.
I think it's also because we get all of this cell phone footage from people, and we feel as though we're there, but we weren't there, right? We don't know the intricacies of what went down. We're seeing kind of snippets and snapshots of it. And then it's becoming kind of a media story, right? But yeah, absolutely. I think it is, from what I understand in that case, it was a pile-on by a group of white individuals against that worker who was just trying to do his job, right? And I think that is the story that lead is getting buried because of the chair, right? And the sensationalism of the chair. So it's, I think, again, it's just a situation where when you're not there, but you want to have an opinion about it, right? Then so many podcasts are doing this now too, right? Where they'll take a story in the post and say like, oh, this is what happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I claim to know nothing.
Yeah.
But I will say, like,
Mhm.
this is just going on in America. I don't even, honestly, this is going to be something that probably no one thinks.
Hmm.
I didn't see that as only racial.
Hmm.
I saw that as post-pandemic anger,
Yeah.
which is happening everywhere. Like the girls on the train,
Yeah.
like, had they been white, it
Right.
still would have been interesting. And it has happened between white on white, right? It has happened between black on black. But people just right now have lost their minds.
Mhm.
You need to mind your business. This
Yeah.
is the time.
Right.
This year and next year, I would say just keep it.
Yep. Exactly. Especially since those safety nets of the state support and the city support are not here.
Not there. It's like what I said about being on stage and choosing to go into a heckler.
Mm-hmm.
I always look around to see, is there security because this is a different time.
Yep.
So I could go in on a heckler, but I don't know. I had this happen this week. I had a woman and I mean, people are just like in the audience now, they're just shouting out. It's really like out of control. And a woman this week, I forgot what I was doing my abortion joke, which is not even a joke yet, really. It's just like a funny thing about not having an abortion joke. I don't want to say it here. You have to come and see me live. But she was like, I need to understand what like, and she's in the front row, and she's a white woman. And I said, and I clearly understood her tone as being like, she goes, I need you to educate me.
Yeah.
Now, I was not in that place to be angry that day.
Right.
So because I've learned that getting angry on stage is not, it don't work.
Mm-mm.
I mean, and I could lose my temper real fast, but I didn't. She was lucky that day. And all I did was I said, listen, the joke happened and you missed it. I said, was she like this with everyone or just me? And a guy in the audience goes, no, she was like that. Or he goes, yes.
Oh, wow.
So she had been disruptive and did my set. Afterwards, she comes out of the room to talk to me, and the manager's like, no, you cannot, no. And she's crying. It's the Karen thing, she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to ruin your show. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead of being like that, I took the higher road because everyone hated her.
Right.
But when she said this to me, she says, someone in my family just died of cancer, and I really appreciate what you said, but I feel really bad, like I really ruined your show, and I enjoyed you. I heard that. And I decided to take the higher road and just be like, it's all right. Just breathe.
Right.
Because she was like,
oh my God.
And the manager, who's what, she wanted to drag her ass out. And I said, no.
Mm-mm.
It's okay. I said, just breathe.
Right.
And she started to breathe. I said, calm down. I said, okay, now go back in and have a good time.
Right.
Now, some people would argue that, they would never have done that. But some moments I feel like we don't all need to gang up on that Karen, or we don't all need to take the obvious road of being like, whatever, go somewhere. I'm human, she's human.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I was wrong in this situation, however, because later I find out she stayed until 3:00 in the morning. She was harassing the wait staff.
Oh my gosh.
Her children who were with her, and that's another reason why I did that. Her children were with her. She left her children. She was hanging out on the street with unhoused people and doing cocaine.
Oh my God.
So I was wrong.
But in the moment you went with what information you had. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just who I am. In my core, I can't, like, if someone's crying, I can't. And if they're saying to me, I'm sorry,
Right.
if she was saying to me, you shouldn't have done that joke, then I would have been like, all right, be gone.
Right.
But because she was apologizing, I did. But what do you think in those moments, Sujay?
Oh
Do you
my
think it's mental illness and that you just need to step away from it?
Well, I've not been in a situation you've been in, but certainly in, the work I do, oftentimes, there's eruptions and people have mental health issues, things that kind of bubble up. And usually it's to de-escalate, right? It's to try to get that person, like, you were talking about, some space, let them give them a chance to breathe and talk through what's happening, right? But I think, in your podcast this week, you were talking about how, and you just mentioned it again, right? That even the type of comedy you're doing, you're being careful of, whether it's crowd work or something, of what the security apparatus is around you. And I think that's something that, if you're in a white male body and a comedy space, you're not doing it right in the same way. And I was just reading about, did you see the New Republic? I'm putting together this course, as I mentioned to you, we're going to be talking about comedy. And so there was this article in the New Republic called, the comedy industry has a big alt-right problem. And that kind of got me into thinking about, well, what's happening right in the comedy industry and the kind of economic tether. So there's one comedian in particular, he's a white male, and all he does is crowd work. I don't find it particularly funny, but that's all he does, right? And then that's all he posts on Instagram and TikTok. Turns out his father is very important in business and has like a private equity investment firm and bought out I think it's the Comedy Cellar or Second City in Chicago, right? Like, so he actually was like, I'm going to invest money in that. So I think that there's these larger inroads of who's even permitted in those supposedly free spaces to say what they can say. And it's always the alt-right comedians who'll say, oh, well, I'm being censored, right? Or I can't say what this is. But as you were pointing out, you're having been to your shows are very inclusive and you do foster so much empathy. So it's really startling to see that happen in that context.
Well, I was telling the same person who was trying to figure out why this young Black girl was so upset about him just posting the question about the chair.
Right.
And I said, well, because it's a sensitive time and you
Right.
should know that.
Right, exactly.
So and my friend who's white, she asked him, she goes, why are you upset?
Maybe a better question is, instead of why are you upset, is can you talk to me more about being upset and what's going on?
And so I said to him, I said, your timing was off,
right?
And I was like, and this is a generation that is coming out of a pandemic, and we all were tribal. That
Absolutely.
Tribalism, it happened fast.
Yep.
I mean, we were all like in jail,
right?
Go to your Black side, go to your white side, go to your Latin side.
Yep.
It was and it's still there. It's still lingering.
Still lingering. Yeah, absolutely. And what the research I've been doing this summer has been showing, and last year as well, that in terms of executive functioning skills, especially for young people, those have markedly decreased, right? So things like goal setting, dealing with frustration, working through a conflict, they didn't have those opportunities to do that for years, right, in classrooms. So it doesn't surprise me, right, that especially look at that, what happened in Union Square with teenagers, right, that there isn't this ability to kind of work through those conflictual moments. They haven't had the practice, right, that you and I did, not going to Zoom school for 3 years, so it is a much, much larger, deeper issue.
Mind your business, folks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And if you're white and you want to bring up a conversation about the chair, just know this just ain't the time. I mean, the guy is being prosecuted. Yeah. They did find him. So the legal course will take its course.
Yeah.
And if it legally, he wasn't supposed to hit someone. Who did he hit with the chair?
I think it was one of the patrons, wasn't it? One of the customers or the people.
One of the ones who was acting a fool.
Yeah. I think, a lot of the people celebrating that, the ones I've spoken to, are not necessarily celebrating that it happened, but because there's such a huge power imbalance within minorities of color, Black and brown, queer people, right, where we don't often get justice, right? We're often not given the access to even some sort of reprieve. So the chair kind of, I saw this one meme that my friend posted of Harriet Tubman passing the chair to somebody. And it was this belief, like feeling so disempowered that this becomes emblematic of like a moment of justice, even if it's like on the street, right? On the street level.
Yeah, the chair was invented by a black man. I love that. Someone put that up.
That's true. Yeah,
I saw those memes. The memes were funny. But you know what? To go back to your point about the comedy scene and the alt-right and what's happening and why I mentioned the tribalism is that happened in the comedy scene as well, as where I was seeing like where we all used to come together as sort of a motley crew. We had sort of separated and gone to our own tables, and it's still sort of lingering. And here's another thing: I am starting to see the pendulum swing back, where it used to be this, that push for diversity is almost like saying woke now, right?
That's right.
And so now what I'm seeing is like at the farmer's market, this one of the woman, not the woman that I usually sell soap. She wasn't there today, Tamara, but our friend, Lily Mae was not there. But the other woman who sells soap, I like her too. She told me, she said, I was surprised. I went and there was not one woman on the show. She went to a comedy club. There was not one woman. It was all men on the lineup. She goes, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And I was like, the pendulum is starting to swing back to the regular okie doke. And so like as far as like diversity goes, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing everyone who had this feeling to inclusive slowly starting to that unconscious bias. This is now like actively not diversifying things at all.
I completely agree with you. And what's sad is that the people, that I've seen who do have different identity markers, right? Maybe they're queer, maybe they're Black, maybe they're brown, right? I've seen them in their comedy lately really silo themselves into that space. And the whole point of comedy, right, and poetry too, right, is to be dangerous, right? To kind of be thinking outside of the box. And so I was watching a queer male comedian special, and I was like, this is also safe. This is exactly what the audience expects of you.
Yes, yes. Now, I will say that comedians do have a choice as to which lane they want to go in, and that's fine. But, it's also that David Juskow is back. I guess because we were talking too much about white folks, and he decided he wanted to come in here and defend. Hold on. Let's see. What you want?
My ears were burning.
We were talking about
alt-right comedians. So
I was telling him how the pendulum is starting to swing back, and how a woman was. I told you this, Jessica. Like it's not like she was saying there was no, like the soap lady at the farmer's market. She was like, there was no woman on this show I saw at a comedy club, not one. It was all male lineup, and that's like that is something that used to be a norm.
Right.
And now I think they're getting letters from women in the audience. This is the good thing, right? Is they're getting letters from women in the audience at these clubs. Like, I want to see a woman. Right. I want to see my point of view. It's also just boring to see all white males on a show.
Right.
Yeah. Juskow, your shows are often very diverse. You do a pretty good job. I've taught you well.
Yeah, no, I do try hard to mix it up, and certainly I love using women, so that's never a problem. Most of my comedy friends are women, and plus I know some of the funniest people on the planet, so it's really easy for me to put stuff together. And I mean, so if they are white, they're usually the best, but I mean, using, as Kathleen says, Jessica Curson and people like that. I mean, that's what a lucky. That's why I love producing shows.
Right.
Because I can put together a real nice show.
And by the way, Huck Hugh, thank you very much for saying your performance at the comic strip was insanely hilarious. Thank you. So I thought, Kathleen, to answer your question, I thought posting crowd work was to avoid posting the actual joke from the show, like Jessica Kirsten, or is it that a specific comedian only does crowd work? It's both, actually. There's some comedians who don't want to put their material on Instagram or because it's new.
Right.
But what's happening is some comedians don't have material yet, and they're young and they don't know how to do. They really are green.
And this is why I got into the trouble at the Comedy Cellar. I was trying to help that exact situation by doing this Make Me Laugh thing, and SD doesn't get it.
Hey, don't know.
I liked that. The Make Me Laugh. That's the one I went to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, but she doesn't get it. I mean, she made it very clear. I don't mind saying it out loud. I mean, it's just all I'm trying to do is help that situation. And she just doesn't understand why it's a good idea at this time. Well, the owner does.
Yeah, all the clinics there were great. I think they're all good.
It's a catch-22 with crowd work, though, because what's happening now is the audience is seeing that on Instagram or social media, a young audience that doesn't really understand. Like, I didn't really know how jokes work. Or when I first went to a comedy club, I didn't really I wasn't going to comedy clubs when I was like, what? Yeah. I accidentally, someone called me. No, they called me up at my father's house. And they're like, you won some tickets. And I was like, I never win anything. I did. And then I told everybody, all my friends, I go, guess what, guys? I won comedy tickets. You ready to go? And then I had to pay. Right. And that was my first. I got swindled, man. But it was fun. And I saw Rob Schneider. And I was like, oh, he's great. And then, or not Rob Schneider. Sorry. No, scratch that. I saw.
I'm going to say you were very young.
I forget what his name was, but oh God, he's been in every movie. He does more movies now than anything, but he was great. And I didn't know how it worked. I didn't understand. And so if I was young and I was just looking on social media and all I saw was crowd work, I would then go to a comedy club and expect
that's right.
That the comedian is going to do crowd work. And that is not the craft of stand-up.
That's right.
The craft of stand-up is you do a joke.
That's right.
Crowd work is something else. Okay. It's a part of stand-up if you must do it. Yes. If you're good at it, great. There are a few that are great at it. Todd Berry, Jay Okerson, Jessica Curson. Right. But the thing is, it is not really, when you see a late night set on TV, you don't do crowd work. And that means that you have committed to telling an actual joke, which is a lot harder.
Much harder, yeah.
Okay. Now, we are intrinsically funnier in crowd work because if you're a funny person, your crowd work is always going to be funny. Yeah. And you're going to be somehow funnier than your actual material because you are going to come out, right? Exactly. But that is something that I know after 20 some years of doing comedy. A young comic who's just putting crowd work on Instagram or social media doesn't know really what they're doing. Right. And so you see this, hey, so
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I hear one more, how long have you guys been together?
Right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And the algorithms love it because young people are eating it up.
Yeah.
And one of the best young comedians coming up right now, Sam Morril, I know this. At the Vermont Comedy Club, someone walked out. One person doesn't count, but one person said he didn't do any crowd work.
You believe that? That's where it all started.
That's wild.
That's when we realized there was a problem that day.
Yep.
So this is the problem. And I'm, me, I like to voice what people don't know. I give voice to the voiceless.
Right.
But this is a major problem. So yeah, but I do think you're right, Sujay, the alt-right. And it is funny that he's my trainer who keeps saying these things. He just I'm like, dude, you're a white guy. You just calm down right now. He goes, okay, but you didn't get mad at me. I go, I'm older. Right. They're younger. And this is the effects of the pandemic. You can't talk to this generation and expect a conversation about the chair.
Yeah.
And her not to be angry.
Right.
No one is listening these days either. So you may not have intended it to be that way, but it's a hot button. And he brought up a joke that he liked, which was from a comedian that I know that was about racism and about how we're all a little bit racist. And I go, now you see that white comic right now, and all the white comics that are doing that type of material is very popular right now.
Exactly.
And it is doing quite well.
That's right.
There's no canceling
Mm-hmm.
going on. The
Yeah.
only canceling, like you said, Sujay, that's going on is the people you know who are of color. They're sort of somewhat muted.
Right. Exactly. Self-canceling. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a problem, and it's not going away.
Yeah.
But I hope, we don't have we need that comic that's going to, like, we lost what's his, oh god, oh, why am I forgetting, not Richard Pryor, but oh oh my god, help me someone. Godfrey does impersonations of him all the time. uh oh my god, menopause is a bitch. Mo It's gone.
Okay. Come
Well,
back.
Dick Gregory is one
Yeah, sure.
that used to do it, and unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
Paul Mooney, thank you.
Paul Mooney, yes. Oh God, yeah,
I was saying
absolutely.
well, but Paul Mooney. Paul
Mm-hmm.
Mooney was very unapologetic, and we've lost that voice. He
Absolutely.
was the one that, and let me tell you, I would see white people going to see him, and
Oh yeah,
they were hungry for
that's
that.
right. That's right. Yeah.
So
Flip
I don't
Wilson
know.
too, right? Back in the day.
I don't do it, like I do it very subtle.
Right.
I do very subtle jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sort of like trick people into laughing at stuff they didn't know was sort of like topical and political. I don't like go in,
Right.
on a subject. I go with life experiences, and then,
Right.
ironically, it's like such a topical topic. So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm having another hot flash. This is my life.
Oh.
The doctor visits caused that.
Oh gosh.
It was so good to have you back.
Oh yeah.
Juskow. What made you come back? It was
Well, my work finishes at 4.
Oh.
So, I just had an issue. I had messed something up, and that was the problem.
Oh.
My fault.
Oh, you got in trouble?
No, not at all. Just it was just I really hadn't done anything all day, and then all of a sudden work just came in at 3. So, what are you going to do? I mean, that I've been able to do this show like for about a year. Once in a while, it's going to happen. I just felt horrible because Evelyn was out today, so thank God Sujay could come in and
Sujay is
pick up some
awesome,
slack.
and he was so good. He was so much better than you.
Yeah, you do, huh?
Oh my brother's actually going to go to the Comedy Cellar this upcoming week, so I'll have to have him choose a good show to come to.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
Well, I was just some of the girls that were coming from my office that just said that my show was sold out.
Oh, okay.
I guess because it's so small.
Yeah.
That should be a fun show.
I know. Yeah, and then they're asking me to like reserve tickets. I'm like, I can't do. I keep telling everybody, I'm like, I'm on thin ice there. When it was my own show, when I was producing it, I could, put people on the list. But now it's not. I can't do that anymore, right?
No, yeah, it's tough. I mean, I try. I get people in. I got what's JH from Metallica in this week?
Oh,
well, that'd be
Is it
cool,
JH or HJ or?
But I can't. I can't. I don't want to call Liz at this point. I'm on such thin ice. I'm like, listen, I can't do anything this time. I've gotten so many people in over the years. I hope they just understand.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, they'll understand. And someone told me they got someone in, like some parents in from her neck of the woods or whatever, her neighborhood, and they did. She's like, guess what? No, thank you. No, thank you from them. But we do have to go. This was so good. Thank you so much, Sujay, for filling in.
Yeah, anytime.
And being awesome, and just, and Juskow for still coming back. That was nice of you.
You're welcome.
And look at DJ Eric Prince is about to go live. So after we sign off, you don't have to sign off. You could go listen. You could actually go out and still listen to DJ Eric Prince you're on Twitch, right? DJ Eric Prince. And are you also on YouTube? But you go and check him out. This is his handle right here, DJ Eric Prince. You could play it and be outside actually and just hear it like you get a DJ kind of for free. Because he's good. You good. All right. So Sujay, do you want to I always wonder, do you want to tell people how to follow you, or are you private? You may be a private citizen.
I am a private citizen, yes, but I'll tell them to follow you. How's that? So
That's very nice. Thank you very much. And don't forget, Juskow's show is this Monday. If your brother wants to go, it's sold out, but you never know. Sometimes people cancel.
Yep.
Yes, James Hetfield. That's who I got into the Comedy Cellar. I don't know James Hetfield personally. I don't know him, but I had a booker who was like, "Can you get him in?" And I was like, "Metallica? I think it's no problem." Classy Sujay. They love you. All right, guys. Marina Franklin, go to my website, marinayfranklin.com. And don't forget, most important, to listen to the podcast, because this upcoming week, the one we have right now is great because we have Tracy Lauren, who does, historical.
Tracy Lords is fantastic. I haven't seen her in years.
Tracy Lauren.
Oh.
She does impersonations of, she films all the characters herself of Black historical important figures in history that you don't know.
I do that too.
She had a million views. Oh, you cannot.
Yeah. Here's my Harriet Tubman.
Oh,
man, you get off that. That's my Marina one too. Child, you shut up.
Yeah. So did you knew that Rosa Parks wasn't the first person to sit in the back of the bus, right?
What?
It was Henrietta.
That is not true. It's Rosa Parks for sure.
Who was it? Henrietta. What's her name? Is Henrietta?
Wasn't that a lesbian bar back?
It was Claudette Colvin.
Thank you. Sorry.
Claudette Colbert. Yes, Colbert. She's wonderful.
No, Claudette Colvin.
What a statement she made for Black people as a white woman in the movies.
They're like, bye, Juskow.
She was dark skinned and she was pregnant, as your podcast pointed out.
So why does Rosa Parks get all the credit?
Because she was optically better suited for the marketing.
Wow, even back then, fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same reason Ethel Merman didn't get into the Gypsy movie. Hello.
Thank you so much. Make sure you listen to the podcast. This upcoming week, we have a professor from University of Chicago, Columbia, Rob Eshman. He's wrote a book called When the Hoods Come Off. And it is an excellent episode with him and also comedian DC Benny.
Oh.
So it's great. It's a great episode. It's coming up this week. So if you haven't subscribed to Friends Like Us, you see it's in there. It's scrolling. It's in the bio. It's in the description. So follow us. Thank you, Sujay. Thank you, Juskow. All right, guys. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, don't forget. Wear your mask. COVID is back. And don't forget to wash your hands. And Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And Latino lives and LGBT, everyone. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I just put keep streaming. No.